Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something called regrets, specifically around the core concept or idea that having regrets is the product of successful critical thinking. I think the phrase live life with no regrets is an absolutely terrible take, and here's why. It shows that you have not, as an individual, developed or grown personally at all in your life. The whole idea behind regrets is to be able to think about your past experiences in a different perspective. I mean, this quite literally defines critical thinking. Being critical is being inquisitive, it's being curious, it's looking at different perspectives on an issue or a problem. People come to me and I've heard stories like, man, I have no regrets in life. I don't regret going to the party, even though I almost got arrested. Or they say, you know what, man, I don't regret not studying and failing my exam because, hey, at least I got a good night's rest. I think these people are absolutely insane because they are not thinking about the alternative. When I fail an exam, I think of what I could have done better. I don't take the victim mentality of saying, my professor failed me, or that content was much too rigorous and challenging to prepare for in the amount of time I was given. I say, hey, look, I slacked off on Tuesday, and then maybe I slept in on Wednesday, and I could have studied with that time I took for myself. And therefore, I was less prepared. That statement right there is a product of high level. And when I say high level, I'm meaning basic, like very basic critical thinking that everyone should have. People who don't think this way are the same ones who go and drive drunk and carelessly put their own lives and other people's lives at risk because they don't think about the decisions they make. People are careless when they don't think critically. And it's the same people who say everything happens for a reason. Do you really think someone is meticulously rearranging parts of your life every day to make things happen for a reason? You actually have to be mental. You actually have to be mental to think that. Things happen every day because people all around the world make individual decisions. You wake up early or late. That is a choice you have. For example, let's say the night before you go into work, you want to binge watch a real popular show. And then you end up sleeping in way too late because you stayed up way too late. And now you're going to be late to work. And as a result, you miss breakfast. And so I look at this situation and I say this, someone who is competent and has regrets would say, oh, I regret staying up so late because I missed breakfast and I was hungry during the morning. And, for the sake of this example, let's continue the narrative. Let's say this person, they usually bike to work when they have the time. Well, this time, since they are short on time, they drive. And so not to nitpick, but I'll nitpick for the sake of this hypothetical example. If you are an environmentally aware person, which we can assume this hypothetical being is because they typically ride bikes to work, then we can also assume that they know they are contributing to climate change by driving their gas vehicle, right? This whole thing about regret is that the choices you make also depend on how you value everything in life. You go and watch that show because you value the entertainment you receive over the sleep you're missing. It's about opportunity cost. That's what opportunity cost is. But then you also lose value when you drive your car to work because you're an environmentally conscious being. You don't want to contribute to climate change. And let's just keep going with the hypothetical. Because let's just say you are rushing to work that morning because of all those poor decisions you made, and now you're going 50 miles per hour in a 35 and you crash into someone's car, total your own vehicle, and get a concussion. Are you really going to sit there and say to me, everything happens for a reason? Well, there you go. I sure as hell learned my lesson to not speed. Maybe it was God telling me to fix my sleep schedule. I mean, come on. Come on, people. Holy sack of shit. Holy sack of BS. It happened. Everything happened there because you made specific choices leading up to that moment. I will never look back on my life and say I have no regrets. I regret so many things I've done because at the end of the day, when you think about the regrets you have, it's all about saying, hey, in this moment, did I make the best choice? Was there a choice I could have made that could have led to a better, more desirable outcome? This is thinking critically. Question everything. Guys, question everything. I question literally everything. I think the smartest people in the world are critical thinkers, and they constantly question things and are curious about everything. Ask yourself, why are you doing this? And have a goal in mind. Understand what you want the outcome to be so that you can approach situations in a certain way. Be strategic in your thinking and in your approach. Let's do another example just to help everyone visualize. And we'll do something that I think a lot of people can relate to: texting your crush or calling your crush, which calling your crush is always going to be a lot better than texting her, in my opinion. So here's the question I'll pose for this example: do I text my crush? And let's think critically and break it down. If I don't, I miss on the opportunity that she actually likes me, and then she becomes my girlfriend, right? We're just going to keep this simple. Now, if I do text my crush and she likes me back, there's a lot of value in her becoming my girlfriend, right? And you gain happiness. But on the offhand, I don't. I avoid the possibility of her saying no, and therefore I don't feel embarrassed. So that's also a positive. You would gain embarrassment or disappointment if I do text and she says no, right? So there's different values that you can input here. And when you think critically and you analyze situations critically, all these inputs that you have are going to be very representative of each individual, depending on who they are, right? That's just basic. I mean, that's a given, right? These are all important to you as an individual in your critical analysis. Well, let's say in the end, you go and text her and then she says no. Well, yeah, you can regret not texting her because she said no, you were rejected. And you can also not regret it in this situation. Now that you know she doesn't like you, maybe you won't lose sleep over it. The whole point I'm trying to make here is not to pick and choose what you regret or don't in this situation. It's that you need to think about the things you have experienced in life, because when you have regrets, you are essentially looking back on your life and evaluating it in a critical way so that you can better proceed in life and any future endeavors you take on. That's the point here. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think regrets are essential, or are they really not necessary in life? Give me your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all next time.